sede, ia beber ao teu monte, agora passo a roda, vou beber a outra fonte. O Alentejo é que é.
My own experience on the Camino Português and the Camino Finisterre this past May cast me in the role of a pilgrim. I voluntarily traveled from my home and family. I eagerly desired to visit certain religious sites, primarily Catholic places of Spain and Portugal. As a Buddhist and not a Catholic, my spiritual connection was somewhat tangential to the spiritual history of this pilgrimage, which meanders along the Iberian coast from Porto in Portugal to Santiago in Spain, about 300 kilometers. Nonetheless, the journey included frequent, familiar personal religious practices and deepened insights. Ray.
I didn't set out with any specific expectations or with the specific intention for my journey to be an expression of a religious belief. On reflection, my simple answer to what inspired me to become a pilgrim was to slow down, take the next step, to attend to my experience along the journey, and to pay homage. In the moment, I wasn't able to articulate as clear a response for myself or to any others asking. I understand now that part of the journey continues to be in reflecting and processing the experience after the return home.
I have always been an avid walker. At 11 years old, I hiked some 25 miles to visit a school friend, an episode better known in our family as when Johanna ran away from home. In teenage rebellious years, I hitchhiked on our quiet rural roads, which often involved as many miles on foot as in a passenger seat. Not surprising then that as an adult, when I arrived figuratively at a dark wood, I took the road less traveled, the Camino Frances. Or so I thought, before I learned that almost 300,000 pilgrims had walked the Camino Santiago that same year. Despite the crowds on the Camino Frances across the top of Spain, I walked alone. I wanted to reflect on how I had suddenly become a single 60-year-old woman without any of the anchors to my former life. I walked through vineyards, across the vast central meseta, the plateau lands, along rivers and up mountains, taking my first steps towards reinventing myself as a solitary traveler, not just on this journey, but in my life. Johanna.
Deixa a janela do sorriso aberta. Coisa boa, boa, coisa desperta. Canta, caia, caia nos liberta. Caia.
I'm one of those predictable humans who describes being called to the trek. I'm predictable too in being newly retired and like a teenager searching for the what next and the who am I now. The Camino was a quest to consider and reflect on my next steps as I reach the downward arc of an already good life. It seems therefore ironic to put into words the experience that is in those 3 Caminos, covering well over 2,000 kilometers by foot in 18 months. For ultimately, to this walker, it is about languishing in and sustaining that space between thoughts and words. To be released, if even momentarily, from rumination and judgment, and instead living in the moment, being in the presence of myself, my essence, all initiated by the rhythm of walking and daily predictability.
Esse coração assim desagasalhado vais sair assim. O sorriso, onde é que está? Estás a pensar que vais aonde assim? Tens que mesmo é buscar e fundo, ri só. Dá-me bom feeling dentro de ti, eu dou-te bom feeling dentro de mim. Bom feeling para levar, bom feeling para motivar. Bom feeling dentro de ti, eu dou-te bom feeling dentro de mim. Bom feeling para levar, bom feeling para nos fazer sorrir. Bom feeling, bom feeling, bom feeling.
Through simple acts of intention and attention, you can transform even a sleepwalking trip into a soulful journey. The first step is to slow down. The next one is to treat everything that comes your way as part of the sacred time that envelops your pilgrimage. From the Art of Pilgrimage, A Seeker's Guide to Making Travel Sacred by Phil Cousineau. In part, this quote forms part of my answer to one of the first questions you hear upon meeting other pilgrims on the Camino. What motivated your journey here?
My second Camino de Santiago in May of 2018 on the less traveled Portuguese coastal route began also with things undone, unsettled, uncertain, unresolved. I was leaving a brother with advanced pancreatic cancer, a 94-year-old mother, and a large worried family. This trip would be different also, as I was meeting up with two fellow pilgrims from the Ottawa Valley. We each had individual itineraries and different levels of stamina, stride, and strength. Johanna.
Desliga o cabo que liga a vida a esse jogo. Joga comigo jogo novo com duas vidas, contra o outro. Que já não basta esta luta contra o tempo, este tempo que perdemos a tentar vencer alguém. E ao fim e ao cabo, o que é dado como ganho vai se haver desperdiçados sem nada dar a ninguém. Anda, faz uma pausa, encosta o carro, sai da corrida, larga essa guerra, que a tua meta está deste lado da tua vida. Muda de nível, sai de estado invisível, põe modo compatível com a minha condição, que a tua vida é real e irrepetível.
My Camino could be said to have 3 parts. Step 1, prepare. When a close friend said to me, I'm thinking about doing the Camino Portuguese. Would you like to come? He may as well have asked me in Japanese how to make a flying bicycle. I had no idea what Camino meant or why I would be interested. But I know my friend to be keenly interested in new experiences related to walking, a passion we share, and I got drawn in by his enthusiasm in pursuing the details. Fast forward to departure day on May 13th, following 10 months of planning, researching, purchasing, and packing, and my dear friend and I arrived in the beautiful Portuguese city of Porto, leaving my hamster wheel life behind for a chance to slow down.